10 main reasons why a zombie apocalypse can happen. Most of us believe that the idea of zombies should be limited to the horror section of our favorite movie providers. However, such an idea is much closer to reality than many of us might think. Now, this probably will not happen in the dramatic, explosive way usually portrayed in films. However, there is serious potential for such an outbreak, especially if the virus suddenly mutates and causes what we can only call a zombie infection. In fact, an outbreak of this kind can lead to a desperate situation. Best 10 Zombie Apocalypse Conspiracy Theories 10 CONOP 8888 files. In 2014, Gordon Lubold took possession of the intriguing U.S. secret military documents dated April 30, 2011. In them, he found details of a genuine U.S. military plan to combat the zombie outbreak. Expressions such as threat isolation and evil magic zombies were used regularly. In the center of attention suddenly turned on the documents. The military was forced to respond. They stated that the word zombies should not be taken seriously. This was simply used instead of highlighting one goal or another. They insisted that this would make the program easily adaptable to various situations. It would also avoid a diplomatic incident. This certainly makes sense, especially in terms of diplomatic relations. However, many conspirators were not convinced. Instead, they insisted that the apparent leak was just that. Quite often, the truth is somewhere in the middle of two opposing points of view. However, when we look at some of the other entries on this list, it is easy to see why the military might have such a planned response. 9 Disturbing Claims by Peter Cummings. Peter Cummings, a scientist at Boston University, claims that there are already several diseases and conditions that can lead to the fact that someone will be considered as zombies. A zombie apocalypse may even seem possible if an outbreak of these conditions spreads quickly and mutates. According to Cummings, the key to understanding the ability of these conditions to cause zombie traits was studying the frontal lobe of the brain. He argued that this casts off the mind from its primary survival instincts, which are a state of zombies. Even more interesting and disturbing are some cases from history. For example, several people already suffered from this condition during the outbreak of Spanish flu in 1918. These people have experienced lethargic encephalitis due to the flu virus. They fell into a stupor and eventually became catatonic. However, any stimulation from another person during this time made these patients go crazy. Whatever the cost, Cummings works as a consultant to the Zombie Research Society, an organization dedicated to the historical, cultural and scientific research of the living dead. 8A Rabies virus can mutate and create zombies. When thinking about zombies, most people conjure up images of the dead rising from their graves. However, in 2010, Samita Andriansky of the University of Miami claimed the opposite. She said that the resurrection of the dead was an unlikely scenario, but there was no mutation of the virus that looked like rabies. In addition, she warned that this mutated strain could spread around the world and cause a condition that is almost identical to the typical zombie species. If such a virus spread to the world's population, the prospects for humanity would be terrible. This type of virus can spread rapidly and is likely to destroy the human race. Perhaps we should take this scenario seriously. For example, what if a person or group of people undertakes to create a mutation of such a virus for the so-called greater good of the planet? 7 Many clans have antiquated zombie customs. Obviously, huge numbers of the ceremonies, customs, and legends of zombies originate from the indigenous people groups of Africa and their voodoo legends. Additionally, these practices go back to relic as indicated by the historical backdrop of creation and folklore of the districts. Voodoo came from the divine beings, thanks to the slave exchange. These conventions and customs ventured out to numerous pieces of America. This was particularly valid in the southern districts of the United States, particularly in Louisiana. As of late, Haiti has gotten one of the focal points of present-day zombie cases. Truth be told, the idea of voodoo saturates the thinking about the populace. Be that as it may, in Haiti, it is typically called the hood. 6. Wade Davis professed to have found the mystery of making zombies. No ifs, ands or buts. One of the most disputable cases about genuine zombies originated from Wade Davis from Harvard University. Davis went to Haiti and went through years there in the mid-1980s. He guaranteed that he found the mysteries of what transforms individuals into zombies. Much increasingly fascinating was Davies' case that crooks were transformed into zombies in olden times to stop their wayward conduct. It likewise filled in as an unfeeling obstruction to other people, as it seemed as though a capital punishment. Davis professed to have increased such information by examining the clerical adults of the locale and at last picking up their trust. He in the long run expressed that the formation of zombies was accomplished utilizing a blend of mystery common poisons. Numerous individuals dismissed his discoveries. Others accepted that such disclosures, assuming genuine, would be of incredible enthusiasm to mystery military ventures. In any case, there is no proof that the military has ever examined Davis's announcements. 5 individuals returned from the dead in Haiti. Scientist Zora Neale Hurston has done the absolute most exhaustive zombie inquiry about in Haiti. Almost 50 years before Davis, Hurston guaranteed that individuals are being come back from the dead. Presumably, she additionally saw the genuine zombies in Haiti. In one captivating story, Hurston discusses being welcome to contemplate hoodoo customs closer. The vast majority have not been allowed this entrance. The hoodoo minister gave consent for an interesting chance, and Hurston in the long run played out a few customs herself. In any case, the section in her 1938 book Tell My Horse, Voodoo and Life in Haiti and Jamaica truly grabbed the eye of individuals. Hurston professed to have seen the disobedience of a dead lady, Felicia Felix Mentor. This zombie had an unfilled face with dead eyes, and a horrendous sight. 4 Zombies of the creature world. There are numerous instances of zombies in the creature world. This disturbs individuals who track the thunder of a plot field. The fundamental concern is that these common strategies will be replicated in a logical lab and utilized against everyone. These issues are straightforward. For instance, numerous normal zombies are made when a parasite enters the creature's sensory system through the evolved way of life. The parasite will assume the development of the creature regularly. This is an endeavor to bring the creature out and see its common predators. On the off chance that effective, the parasite at that point goes to the predator similarly as it got into the initially contaminated host. Indeed, even a few organisms pull in, and afterward target and taint, certain creepy crawlies that feed on mushrooms. Be that as it may, contagious cells at that point gradually catch creepy crawly cells and, at last, every one of their developments. It would seem that one parasite contaminates woodworker ants. As per David Hughes of Penn State, this transforms creatures into an organism in the garments of ants. Zombie virus, that is why foreigners did not visit the Earth. Stephen Kane, an assistant professor at the University of California at Riverside, certainly has a unique theory of why aliens did not visit Earth. In 2014, he claimed that as a result of space travel in the past, such astronauts were aground like zombies on an unknown planet. Kane used a formula similar to the zombie-Drake equation. He looked at how many epidemics have hit humanity over the centuries. Based on this, he decided that the same thing probably happened with space travel in the past. Kane believed that our solar system should be full of life. However, germs, bacteria, and viruses probably traveled with these ancient space travelers and probably created zombies from an unknown planet, as well as space explorers themselves. This is certainly a frightening prospect, especially if people ever go beyond the Moon or even Mars. If these potential space explorers return from such a journey, can they bring something as deadly as the zombie virus, one that can kill all life on our planet? 2. If this happened, it would happen quickly. One thing is certain. If such a zombie virus really spread, he would do it quickly. In addition, he would infect a significant part of the world's population equally quickly. Perhaps we just need to see how quickly the flu viruses cross the world to appreciate this. Let's imagine that the zombie beetle fell into the general population. This is likely to make scientists and physicians all over the world take by surprise and upside down, especially if such a virus was deliberately released by some extremist. If such an unlikely scenario happens, it really can lead to a desperate situation for humanity, so terrible that we simply can't recover. When we look at the idea of zombies in these terms, the prospect does not look so ridiculous, no matter how unlikely it will happen. 1. Zombie drugs and mind control. Some researchers insist that the intelligence world seeks to turn people into zombies with drugs and mind control. Of course, most people scoff at such statements and reject them. And they may be right. In the end, there is little evidence that such outlandish acts take place behind closed doors. But what if such a conspiracy unnoticed unfolds under the collective nose of humanity? Of course, proof will be difficult, if not impossible, to obtain. Obviously, it would be very interesting for the overseer of such a conspiracy to keep it secret. Most likely, they will do this, calling such statements crazy. This is almost the same as with many UFO witnesses. This, of course, is food for thought.